Yeah, I know it's been a couple weeks. So how's it going, Peanut?
Good, good. It's been a great day so far. How's it going with you, Esteban?
It's going pretty good. I know we just got done with your live stream. That was amazing. Uh, you guys should all check it out too, hopefully. Let me see if I can let me put in your link in here too, so that way if anybody comes in, they can go right to that video, that live stream you just did, Peanut.
Yeah, okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah, let me get that in there real quick. But it was pretty cool actually today when we were talking about we were talking about well, it was actually a game that we were playing. That was awesome. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was fun. I wasn't. I thought it went a little bit easier today than it went yesterday, the first one, but I thought it went pretty smoothly today. Like kind of loose and low key, and I thought everyone had fun. So that's cool.
That's pretty cool. Hello, Vita. I don't know if I can pronounce your name right. Himalowski. Hello. I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong. I'm so sorry.
I'm calling him Vitaly. Is that how I say it? Vitaly, or is it Vitali? Vitaly?
Vitali?
I,
Vitali?
I say Vitaly. Vitaly, maybe it's not like that though. How do you pronounce it, Vitaly? Is it um like can you spell it in the chat like phonetically? Is it like Vitally? Vitali? Vitali sounds kind of cool.
Vitali?
Vitali
Huh.
sounds kind of cool, huh? Vitali.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds pretty. Yeah, it sounds. I don't know.
Photo Helix. Oh yeah, Photo Helix. Photo Helix. Have you seen him? You know who he is, Melton though? Photo Helix.
No, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, he's made some really amazing videos, dude. Like he's got I think like a camera background. Vitali. Is it Vitali? Is that how you say it? Vitali?
Vitali.
Vitali?
Huh.
Yeah, Photo Helix is pretty amazing. I was looking at, I discovered some of his videos after the fact, but like was talking about CERN and the circle, and it's like a spell. You know, how, like you have like the circle, when wizards or whatever do their thing. Um, so he was on Richie from Boston recently too, I think.
Really?
Oh, Vitaly. Okay, so it's pronounced Vitaly because he said it was right the first time.
Vitali. Huh. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the chat. Um, for those who have not subscribed to Peanuts channel, subscribe.
Woohoo!
There you go.
Close. Okay, cool, cool. Hey, thanks, Esteban.
You're welcome. Thank you, Peanut, for having me on your channel
Yeah.
earlier. It was awesome.
Hey, thank you for being here, especially because like you're having um other stuff going on that might be distracting to you. I don't know. I'm sure what I can talk about or not.
That's fine. I just haven't been feeling too good, so
Yeah,
yeah, it's been a rough road, but I can handle it. Thanks to Christ, and I just think of Him, so it helps me out get through it.
I was thinking about this. Let me know what you think, because I'm all up for jokes and having fun and pushing the limit, right? But some people are like, Mike, you went over the top with that. Stop talking about your nuts or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right? I don't want. I'm Mike. I'm sick of hearing about your nuts. I don't want to hear about your nuts ever again. Right? I'm like, no, you must listen to me. You must hear about my nuts. I must tell the whole world about my nuts, right? Stuff like that. But I was thinking, like, what if instead of doing another, um, tell me if this is too much, Esteban, and Vidley, I'm counting on you to let me know if I'm going over the top or not. What about instead of playing Jeopardy? What if we played a virtual game of Strip Monopoly?
Of what?
Strip Monopoly.
Strip Monopoly.
Right.
Oh,
Would that be over the top or what?
I don't know if you can do that on YouTube.
Right. But with like virtual articles of clothing or something, that might be too much.
Hmm,
Even
I
for
don't
me.
know.
Even for my standards.
Yeah, I don't know, cause like I
You'll
think
be there.
you could get a strike or something on that, can't you?
Well, I don't mean like literally showing things. Like I mean like for example, like virtually, like say let's say everybody had 5 articles of clothing. Like they had their shirt, a hat, and socks or whatever, right? And then like say every time you landed on boardwalk, you lost like um an article of clothing or whatever until like when you lost just as a joke, but it's probably over the top anyway.
I mean, I hear you on it. I mean, I'm sure there'd be a lot of people there.
Right? I think it'd be funny, man. But like I know some people will be like, that's just not cool.
Yeah, yeah,
I always do it
yeah.
as a joke. It seems like a memorable thing. Like, who would think of that? Strip Monopoly? Like, who does that? Um,
There's people that do that kind of stuff. What was the song? There was a, you know that, what was it? Against Humanity? Cards Against Humanity?
oh yeah, I tried that, and I can't do that anymore because people were like, you know what? Um, it just offended too many people. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I can't do that anymore. Um,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, there was one that was similar to that my aunt brought over one time, and
apples to oranges or apples to apples, whatever it is.
no, no, it's a way different one, and it was similar, way similar to the Cards Against Human or whatever it's called, Against Humanity.
Yeah.
Um, but like this one had more. It had like really vulgar language compared to that, and I was like, "Whoa, what kind
Wow.
of game is this?" And my
Yeah.
aunt just started laughing, and we're just like cracking up.
That's funny. It must be really extreme because I thought Cards Against Humanity was out there, so it must be really out there.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, I didn't realize there was games like that until my aunt told me about it, and I was like, "Oh, wow."
Oh, did you see Tommy came on? Def Red came on my channel the other day, and like he had a
Who?
PA. I think he has a PA system. Def Red, he's in your chat.
Death Red.
Tommy, he's got the he- uh his name says Def Bread, DEAFBRED. Anyway, he was in the chat. He was like he came on my channel. He had like a microphone, was making these cool sounds and stuff. Um,
Oh yeah, Death Bread. I see him right here.
yeah, I wonder if he's like a singer or something. You know what I mean? Or because he has the microphone. You know, so that would be kind of cool if he could maybe he could join us, huh, for Monday for the jam session and like sing something maybe or something.
That would actually be awesome.
I know, right? That does sound like fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Let's see here. I'm gonna create something real quick. There's something I'm gonna write on here. Um, let's see here. I'm trying to put up something real quick. There was a saying I wanted to put on here, but I can't remember the saying all the way. What was the saying that I was gonna put up on here?
Oh, he's got an 8-track that has an effects option. Right on. What kind of effects are on there? You probably have like what, like reverb or something, or is it like has like a preset thing that like I have like this voice effect thing. It makes like a it'll make you sound like a robot, or you sound like a chipmunk or something. Yamaha. Oh, okay, right on. Oh, it's like an H, like a recorder, like a digital recorder, that sort of thing.
There we go.
Are you a singer, Tommy?
Yamaha MG 124CX.
He says 8 tracks, so I think it's a recorder, 8-track
It's
recorder.
effect. It has effects on it.
Yeah, that's cool, huh?
Huh. I have to check that out. What was that thing that you were using? I think Peanut. You said
Uh,
that you could put your guitar and you can make like really cool noises with your mouth with it.
oh, you know what? I've got a couple things. I've got something I haven't even used yet. I bought a bunch of pedals the other day. So one of the pedals I have is called this is a guitar pedal. It's called I think it's like a voice box or something, or maybe a talk box. It's called a talk box. And then Oh, you sing? Oh, yeah. Hey, well, maybe you could come on Monday and then sing a song or something, Tommy. That'd be fun because we're all gonna jam out anyway, or guitar, or whatever it is you do. Bring it on, brother.
He says he sings too.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. We should have him on, huh? And we all like hang out together. But I have what's called a talk box. The way it works is it's like a guitar pedal, right? Um, so you can play your guitar through it, and then usually with talk boxes, there's like a tube that goes from like a surgical tube that runs from your mouth to the guitar pedal, and then if that you make like you do stuff with your mouth and while you're playing guitar, and so it adds that vocal quality to what you're doing, and and then that way it gives it like we talked about, like the air Sweet Emotion, that song by Aerosmith. It has one of those in it, that where it's hard to describe, but it gives this weird wow, wow, like it gives you like
a reverb.
It's not reverb, but it gives the song the guitar. It gives your guitar. So you're still playing the same notes on guitar, but it's like a robot saying it or something, kind of. Like it's like your vocals are through a microphone get amplified to kind of change the contour of. Yeah, it's kind of like a wah. Yeah, a little bit like a wah pedal, where wah is like wah 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 like that. But or you could slow down or speed up the wah pedal thing, like wah 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 wah, wah or wah 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 wah, like boom chicka wah wah, like that sound. Right, that's a wah pedal.
Brown cow.
Right, yeah, that's like a wah pedal sound, like something from the '70s or something, like Voodoo Child or something from Jimi Hendrix, like that.
Man, that's a good song.
Yeah, it's really a song. That's wow 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 wow. That's all wah pedal. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's actually sort of like a wah. So when that's actually a good. Now I think about it, Tommy's kind of right. So it's like you're using your mouth as the wah pedal. So it adds a vocal quality that the wah pedal doesn't have while you're playing guitar.
Huh.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. It's a very unique sound. So I have one of those. I haven't even messed around with it, but I have one of those. And then I also have this thing. I think it's by Zoom or no, it's Digitech. It's a what it is. It's like a vocal processor. So that way, if you plug it into a PA or whatever, if you're going to sing or something, it lets you choose different wacky sounds, like well, there's probably a few I might use, but not mostly. But it'd be more like for wacky things, like it could imitate like a bullhorn or something, like or something, right? Like, or it could do like a robot sound, like or I don't know. I'm trying to imitate my voice, but or you could do like it'll change your voice really high, like I'm a squirrel or something, and then or it'll like it just different kind of weird sound effects like that. Or it'll go like, oh yeah, it'll do that kind of thing. Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I just use it for fun, it's for messing around. But so what I do is I'll take a guitar cable and I'll run the guitar cable through my little small amplifier. I have like a little 20-watt Fender amp that I use, and then I run the pedal through that, and then the microphone goes through the Digitech vocal processor, and that's how I do that.
That's really cool. Have you ever heard of what's that amp brand? It's called Orange, something Orange.
Oh, Orange amplifiers. I knew a
Yeah.
guy who had one. I'm not sure. I don't know a whole lot about Orange amplifiers. I don't honestly. I personally don't see the point of them because if I'd be like, if I'm going to go with an amp, the only thing I could think of is either going with a Marshall, like a tube amp Marshall, right? If you're going to want to go with like anything from hard rock to metal, you probably want a Marshall, unless you want Mesa Boogie, maybe like a Mesa Boogie amp or some kind of boutique amp or something. But like or like you have some custom made thing or something. Either that or go with like a Fender. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I have, Fender tube amps. So honestly, I don't see the point of anything else other than some people are like all up in about the like the I forget what it's called, like the Line 6 or thing or something, or like the amps that have preset digital things on them or something to imitate other things, which might be more convenient. But for just in my mind, if you're going for just a pure raw amp sound, I couldn't see going with an orange amplifier. I listened to one, I was like, maybe not so much, but they're not bad. But I don't see an advantage they have over a Marshall or a Fender in my mind. You know, I don't. To me, it's kind of pointless. But maybe for someone out there, maybe they really love the sound of orange amplifiers. They're not bad. It's kind of, I just don't see why anyone would want one. You know what I mean? Like I can't foresee like a very specific musical circumstance in which I'd say, yeah, I want an orange amplifier versus a Marshall or the a Fender amp.
Huh. Um, the reason why I was talking about that is I was thinking of what is it called? I was thinking of the little mini amps that you could take with you. You could put it like on your belt, and you
Uh-huh.
could play the guitar. And I was thinking of buying an orange amp just for that reasoning to take it anywhere with me.
Well, for that reason, yeah, it probably that'd be fine, I guess. Yeah, I was thinking like more like a big scale thing, but for that, I don't know what kind of sound quality you're going to get out of it, like a little amp anyway. Because like honestly, in my mind, to get, with the only exception being like a pig nose amplifier, um, that I'm aware of, is the only thing that to get decent quality out of an amp sound for guitar, that you really have to have nothing less than a 10-inch speaker. You know what I'm saying? Because I know they make like 8 inches, etc. But once you go that small, it's like you lose. It gets really hard to dial in a good sound once
Huh.
you go, or maybe it's the 12s. I forget. I think it's the 10. Maybe it's 12. But
Uh,
and I've noticed that, like even on like I've taken my little 20-watt amp. I think it's 20 watts Fender Champion, whatever it is, to it's transistor amp. I took it to a bar to play, and it gets hard to dial in a good sound on that. Whereas like the bigger amp, it's still transistor, so it's not so heavy like a tube amp. But with those bigger speakers, it makes a big difference. It's easier to I'm not sure exactly why I'm not smart enough to know what's going on and do that. But like with the really small speakers, I don't know, man. It's just harder to you got to sacrifice something for the portability, I guess.
huh. I was kind of wondering about that because okay, so I bought one of the little amps, right? And
Huh?
it was good for a while, and then all of a sudden, like it just gave out. I mean, like I kept putting new batteries in and everything, and I thought, oh, it's gonna work, and for some reason, it wasn't working.
Does it turn on? Like, can you see the light come on?
Yeah, I see the light come on, but the sound just doesn't. It's not like it's all crackled up. It doesn't. It doesn't play continual sound. It's like cracks in and out.
Hmm. I don't know. It might be like a soldering thing, maybe.
I
Who
don't know.
knows?
I have to. I was gonna look in there to see if the wiring maybe like something popped out of place, or and kind of look at it to see if there was something wrong with it.
But you get like a little amp, like something you hold on your belt or whatever. You're not going to get a high quality sound regardless anyway. So it's best more like just for having fun and kind of cruising around. So I mean, I'm sure there are differences, but whatever sound you get, it's not going to be like the quality you get out of a bigger amp. You know what I mean?
No, and I understand that. I just wanted something to go around to just jam out and have a good time, you know.
Yeah. Well, so you probably can't go wrong. I mean, like whatever works, it's going to be fine. Or are you? Uh, is are you talking about using that amp like where, like, not that it matters, but just making conversation, like maybe to go to the outside or the park or somewhere to play like guitar outside? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, yeah. Like I was just thinking, like maybe if I go to, we have this one big park over here. It's we call it Veterans Park, but it's pretty big. So I was like, well, if I wanted to go out there and just enjoy the day and just look at, like when it's really sunny out and stuff, I just want to play my guitar. There's times where I just want to have it with me just in case of, hey, somebody's like, hey, let's play some music together. All right, I got my guitar already ready and I got a little mini amp. Let's do it.
What about maybe you should like I would advise maybe like look into like a pig nose amplifier because they're portable. You can put batteries in them so you can play out, all the batteries don't last forever, but you could those pig nose amps have a really good sound for how small they are. And they're super portable. Matter of fact, I think Eric Clapton has used one to record before. So, if
Wow.
you're yeah, so if you're gonna go for a small amp that you're gonna be carry around with you, yeah, unless they have like an AC outlet or something somewhere, that'd be different. But those run on batteries, so those are
Do you know how much those usually cost?
I don't remember. You have to look on like Musician's Friend or something.
I have to check that out. Also, by the way, Snake Demon Sands said that there's going to be a flood happening where he lives.
Oh, lame.
Uh, yeah,
Hey, we should say a
he's
prayer for him real quick.
he's freaking out. Yeah, let's do a prayer. He
All right,
was he's asking for that.
cool.
Yeah. God, please protect Snake Sands from this disaster that's about to occur. Pray that him and his family are safe and sound, and that you have them in your hands, and you guard them from this disaster. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Wow. Um.
It's by the hurricane.
Yeah,
Florida.
there's a hurricane. Yeah, Florida. Oh, yeah, we were watching on the news this morning that there was gonna be a big old hurricane going over there. This hurricane's really bad. It even hit the Virgin Islands and everything.
Yikes! See, I don't watch the news anymore, so I had no idea.
Yeah, I really don't like watching the news, but where I live, a lot of people like watching the news, so I end up watching some of it and hearing some of it, and I'm like, oh, this is really bad. um, but I always think of every time when something like that's gonna happen to Snake Sands. I just want to let you know too. Just think of Christ. He always gives you that hope when you're gonna go through something. He's always there to hold you. So that's our blessed hope right there in every situation that we go through in this life.
Oh, he lives near the beach too. Wow.
I get hit really bad. I live near the beach. Yeah.
Yikes.
Oof. Yeah, that's gonna be a heavy one. Just keep focus on Jesus and put all your worries and your cares on Jesus, and He will hold them for you. He'll make sure you don't have them. Give it all up to Him. He tells us to do that in the scriptures. Um, and everything will be okay. Just think of Christ. Um, so I don't know where you want to go on this too, Peanut, but I was wondering if we can read just a little bit of scripture. It can also help him out too, so that way he has that hope.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I like John, so I know we were reading that in your channel too at
Okay.
the end, but I want to go to actual chapter 1, and we're going to read at least a couple verses here.
Okay.
So, um, I don't know if you want to read the whole chapter or if you want to just read a couple verses here and there.
I'm game either way.
Okay, we'll just read a few. Hopefully this helps you, uh, Snake. Hopefully this really helps you. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. The same came for a witness to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not the light, but was sent to bear witness of the light. That was the light, the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which was born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God.
Amen.
All things are in him, in his hand. He created this world. He knows what's going to happen. Just rest in him and let everything just be on his shoulders.
Amen.
That's it. Let's see here. He says, okay, but I scared about my house and my cats. Here it's going to, wait, is that 23 or is that 2 to 3 feet?
I wasn't sure either. I think it would be 2 to 3 feet because 23 feet of water.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that sounds like tidal wave water or something.
Yeah.
2 to 3 feet, I would think, is what it says.
He said, yeah. Okay. So that has to be 2 to 3 feet then, I guess. Huh. Oh, he says 3 feet. Okay.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. 3 feet.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, he means it's going 2. He used the number 2 as a replacement for TO.
Oh, okay. It's gonna go to 3 feet. Okay. Yeah, I know it's not. I mean, it's not hurricane status or nothing like that, but we had some really strong winds just last night, and I mean, it like literally pushed down a few trees where we were at, and that kind of like, whoa, it woke me up in the middle of the night. Because I wasn't used to that here. I mean, I don't think we've really had storms that bad where I'm at, but we have had. Well, okay, scratch that. We've had some bad storms. We've had one where we almost had a tornado hit us, so that was kind of bad. That was like 75-mile-hour winds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But I can definitely feel you on that right there. Snakes. How much is that? How much is what 3 feet? What are you trying to say there?
How much is that? A lot. I don't know.
That's I don't know. Let's see. Wow.
It's this much.
Oh, that's funny.
You want to know how big 3 feet is? Let me show you how big 3 feet is. Hold on, let me bring out my measuring stick. Well, you asked, so I have to show you. Yeah, here's the 3 feet. So kaplunk. There you go. Right, exactly, Finley. Right.
It's about your peanuts. Don't get him started about his peanuts.
I know. See, there we go. Everyone always wants to talk about my nuts, and who could blame anyone, right? I mean, what is more fascinating or interesting than my nuts? I mean, right? Who doesn't want to talk about my nuts? I love talking about my nuts.
We have to be careful here, dude, because we also have younger audiences here.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
we're talking about just legumes. That's all we're talking about.
yeah, just
those
peanuts, like
peanut,
actual organic peanuts.
right? Unlike those GMO peanuts,
Yeah, you don't want them GMO ones.
right?
Those
Oh
are
yeah,
bad for you.
they're bad, right? There's nothing worse than a bad nut.
You never know what's gonna crawl out of that nut.
Yeah. Hey, I thought we weren't going to go there. Right? Exactly.
My bad. I shouldn't have said that. But either way,
Well, yes, indubitably. Um,
yeah.
so the game was pretty fun though, huh? The Jeopardy.
Yeah, that was actually that was an interesting game. Like, yeah, and then the Bible topics, those were really good too.
Okay,
That were
cool.
in that game. Those questions, those Bible questions,
Uh-huh.
those were really good.
I'm tr-
Um, Go ahead.
it took me like, believe it or not, it took me about 2 hours just to make that part. Like I had to come up with the ideas, they don't, and then write them down, and some of the stuff like that, it takes a while. Actually, it doesn't seem like it, but it actually takes a while to think of everything and write it down and all that. Like,
It, it,
huh?
it's is it like when you used to do those scripts?
It
Does
is
it
like
take
that.
you?
Yeah, it
Okay.
takes a while. It's not. It's easier than the scripts because it's those scripts. Those took like 10 hours or something on average.
Uh-huh.
I had to spend a whole day writing it. You know. So those are the other hard part is like, I kind of want to do another one of those, like a script, some one of these days. But the hard part is getting everybody to show up. Like today, you were there and Cellar Door was there, and then it was it was chaos. I had to wait for people to show up who weren't there, and then you know um, so that's the hard part about doing those, even though they're fun, is getting everybody to show up on time. And I'm not complaining. I'm just telling it like it is.
It's not easy.
No, it isn't.
Yeah. And then like, like I'm sorry, like I said, I'm sorry for the last time. I just wasn't feeling good and I was trying to, you
Oh,
know,
it's all good. I don't even blame anybody. People, everyone has lives, so it's not like I'm dissing anyone. It's just it is what it is. It's people have lives, and they show up when they can. But it makes it harder to do fun stuff like that because I don't mind doing all the work, but it makes it difficult when I can't find people to rely on. You know what I mean? Because like for example, if I'm writing a script and there's like 5 parts in it or something, um, and then 2 people don't show up or something, and then it's like, okay, now what do I do? Then I got to try to talk someone in from the chat to come in, and then that takes time, and then they come in and maybe their mic doesn't work or something, or they haven't done StreamYard yet or something, and so you have that, and then everyone's waiting while to make it work. So, and again, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it is what it is. But once everything gets moving, then it's cool. But yeah, I kind of want to do another one of those. Did you like doing the scripts, S1?
the scripts, yeah, they were fun. I used to love doing my hold on one moment. My golem voice.
Yeah, you
It
got that.
saves your necessities, oh my precious.
I like that. Like when we did one where where you're doing the voice. I think it had like something to do like the alien deception or something. And then like and Fat Albert was in it too or something. He's like,
Hey,
yeah, right.
I'm Fat Albert.
Oh, that's right. And then like Fat Albert made a spaceship out of junkyard parts or something, right? Right. And then, then he had the junkyard spaceship. Hey, Fat Albert on the way. And then like right. And then we all ended up on Mars or whatever it was, right? And then like your character, I forget what the name of the character was. Stitch or something was like, I'm Stitch, bitches, or we are. You said I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, Mega Stitch. And this is my family.
Yeah.
I know they're broken, but dang, man, they're still my family. Don't judge them.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah. I really enjoy doing voices and stuff like that, and kind of I want to liven things up a little bit and just have fun, man. Like, if you can't have fun and you can't laugh at stuff, what's the point?
I gave like one time we had Tiffany on, not Tiffany, we had Tammy on, and the line was something about crabs or something. Uh, right? I forget
Well,
what she
what?
said. Yeah, it was something like, "Well, I like crabs, but not that kind." Or I don't remember what it was. The line was, but it was so funny. She laughed, and then what was some of the other things that we said on there? Can't even remember now. But, it's or that I had like what this or when I had that one guy come on acting like Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was fun too. Have him do the voice.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm trying to think. Who was that did that?
Yeah, I've done it once, but someone named what was his name? Darkstone or Stonebender was the guy. He stopped coming on because of Cowboy, but
Oh,
yeah, it was just like I can't control that because Iman still comes on, so does Honey Ann, but I guess he was loyal to Cowboy or something, so it is what it is. But he did a great Arnold Schwarzenegger voice though. Be all like come with me if you want to live, Timmy Turner. Uh,
oh wow, man, that's pretty cool. You could do his voice, but I can't do that voice.
you got the other one down though, like Golem and all that.
Yeah, yeah, I do a little bit. I've been trying like there's that voice, but then I can also copy like I don't know what it is, but like one of my friends, I was able to do his voice really good,
Uh,
and it freaked him out. And then he okay, this might be bad, but in high school, he was like, dude, I'm about to get in trouble with my mom. Pretend you're me. So I did his voice. I mimicked his voice right off the spot,
yeah.
and she could not tell the difference who's talking to who.
Oh, trippy. Right
Yeah,
on.
and she freaked out because then we told her later on, we're like, hey, did you know that was Esteban? And she was like, no way.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
like, you sound just like my son. I was like,
Hey, that's a trip. That would come in handy, especially if you imitate parents. They're like, "Oh, Johnny can't call me sick today," or something. Um, eh, eh, uh, yeah, Tommy. It was yeah. Fat Albert made a spaceship out of junkyard parts. That was in one of the skits that we did. But that's yeah, I can see that though because you can imitate if you can imitate Stitch and all that, I can see you. It's the same thing, huh? Like you're just doing voices, imitating things. I try to
yeah.
imitate people's accents. I'll try to get Australian thing, like
Oh, I
Hawaii.
remember you doing
Get
that.
get cold at a knife. It's still a knife.
The Bobby.
Yeah, put a shrimp on the barbie. Like I think they make in Australia. I think they make a sounds like I or something. Oi. It's
Oi,
oi.
oi,
Yeah, right.
oi.
Oi. Yeah, oi, oi, oi. Good.
On the
Yeah, right.
Bobby.
Get it right.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that voice. I don't know why.
Or
It's difficult.
or the how about this one? You know, a cup of coffee. Talk about
Coffee.
yourself. It's
Hey,
coffee.
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 Coffee. I saw you on Fifth Ave just the other day, yo.
Right? Use guys.
Guys. I don't know. I can't do it. Some of them I just can't do for some reason, but there's others that just out of nowhere I'll get it. I'll get it right away. Uh,
Some are just easier to do than others are, huh?
yeah, like my friend, he had that high pitched voice, and I used to be able to do his. I used to mimic his voice right on point. And he's like, "How did you do that with like just a second? Like just hearing my voice, just 1 second, and all of a sudden you could do it too." I'm like, I don't know, man. I just hear your voice and I can mimic it. And he had like a very, very high pitched. It wasn't well, not very high pitched voice, but it was like a. I don't know how to explain it. Um,
I get
come
girly
on, guys!
voice.
Like, come on, guys! Don't do that. No, that's not cool, man. Like, he used to do like that. That's how he sound. And I was like, dude, I can copy your voice. He's like, no, you can't. And I did. And I was like, dude, told you. Like, just give me the phone and I'll act like I'm you.
uh,
So he's like, all right, cool. We're gonna play a prank. I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. So I did it to his mom, and she freaked out because then, like I said, when we went to his house later on that day, she was like, "That I was talking to you the whole time, and I wasn't talking to my son." And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "That's trippy, man. I thought it was my son the whole time." It's like, yeah, I can be convincing, I guess. It's kind of creepy,
yeah, kind of
but
cool actually.
yeah, but yeah. I don't know how we even got on that topic.
Oh, I think we were talking about like doing the skits and all that, which was fun. Yeah, I kind
Yeah,
of missed it. But
You miss doing the skits too?
I do. I do. I love doing it. But it's just that it's the hard part is getting people to show up. You know what I mean? 'Cause it takes so much time to plan them. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you did 10 hours a day. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it takes. That's about right on average, about 10 hours to write those. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of also with music. You know how music, like to compose one, to compose a song, it
Uh-huh.
takes time. You have to have the lyrics, and plus you also have to have the chords, and you have to integrate them both together. And if it doesn't sound right together, you just ruined your song. So you got to make sure it's interlinks together.
You know what? That's funny about that is that like that brings up two philosophical views of writing music. One is that you come up with the lyrics first and then you write the music to match the lyrics. The other way is you write the music first and then write the lyrics to match the music instead. You know, so the sound and then the lyrics, or the lyrics and then the sound. Um, you're right though. It is different. I actually like wrote that last song. Did you hear the song I wrote that I put on my channel?
Which song was that?
Um, I called it original song number two.
I need to go back and look at that. I probably didn't see it yet.
Okay, and it's no. Well, it's not like you have to. It's not like you're obliged or anything. It's just a question. Um, but on that one, what I did was I strang some chords together, and then after I put the chords together, I just kind of hummed along with it, and then so it kind of came whatever melody I came out with. I thought about how it made me feel, and then just make the lyrics kind of match. And then afterwards, I had like a rough idea. Then I kind of went back in and maybe change things up slightly, and then try to make a story out of it or something. You know, that worked for me for that one. You know, but every song's different, though, I guess.
That's true. There's like a when I listen to like Blink 182 or any of
Uh,
them,
yeah.
um, all I can think of is how it repeats, but they make it sound so how do I say it? They make it sound good by the way they play the chord progression. Even though
Hmm.
they're playing the same chords over and over again, they kind of give it that tune to make it sound catchy, so it catches somebody's ear.
I've thought about stuff. I've never heard that particular song to my knowledge, but in general, though, if you're gonna write a simple song without a whole lot of um, changes to it, etc., um, that you're still probably going to want to put in subtle changes so that way it keeps someone interested. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe the melody changes slightly, or you know, or maybe slightly different rhythm or something. You're like, so like every time, you don't have to do it that way, but like that helps to create more interest. It's those subtle things that most people don't pick up on, where it seems like the same thing over and over again, but maybe it's slightly different each time. Like for example, like if you look at like Stairway to Heaven, right? In that song, and there's other songs like that, the drums actually don't come in until like midway through the song or something. So, and when they do come in, it's more dramatic because it signifies a change or something. And so sometimes it's in my mind. Well, I did a surf song, right? And in
Uh,
the surf song I did, I did a few this way, where it's like it comes out with just the guitar and drums playing, and then after they play for a bar or two or whatever, or play through the whole riff once, then the bass and second guitar come in, and then it adds oomph to the sound for a minute. And you're not really playing anything; it's a whole lot different. Just playing what you already play, but now with all the instruments involved, and then so it sounds a little bit different. And just doing that alone, it creates more interest um, in my mind, in the riff, so it makes it slightly different. But I was talking to one guy, and he's like, "Well, the other thing that you could do is you could play the riff once and like the whole way through if it has more measures to it, and then the second time through maybe play in a higher octave or something. You know what I mean? Or you could change the effect or just change the melody slightly or something. And so that in my mind is sort of like the way to keep a simple song interesting is to add subtle changes to it so that um, it's still a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. Huh. Yeah, that's true. And there's also another way too. Like where you play the regular chords, like the G and all that stuff, and like it's on the second fret and third fret.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, somebody told me, why don't you move those ones that you normally play on the second and third fret and all that stuff? You can move it down a few frets, and it has a different sound to it, so people don't really know. But those are like there's a D5. Have you heard of D5? Instead of
D5, a D5, you mean like a fifth? Like a D5 would be like a fifth. That means like that you're playing the root note and the fifth of the chord. Like for example, if you're playing D, then D would be one, and then E would be two, F probably sharp or something would be three, G would be the four, and then the five would be A. So if we play the notes D and A together, that'd be a D5. That means a fifth, which means it's the second note in the dyad, which means like a two notes played at the same time, would
yeah.
be the fifth note of that scale if you're using D as the root note. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like if you're playing a chord, like a basic major or minor chord or whatever, it's like you skip the theory behind it is that you is this too much? Am I like sounding obnoxious at all?
No, no, no,
Okay.
you're good. Go ahead. Just
Alright, cool.
explain it.
Yeah. So I don't want to come off as a know-it-all, but like what happens if you're playing like say a major chord, all you or a minor chord, depending on the pitch you're in, what is that like for any basic minor or major chord, what you do is in the lettering system, let's say you start C, it'll be C, D, E, F, G, etc. And what you want to do, if you say playing from there, is you skip every other note to make the chord. So like C would be a note, but you would skip the D. E would be a note, then you skip the F, and then G would be a note. So then you have the root, which is C, the third, which is the third note in that scale, which would be E, and then the fifth note in that scale, which would be G, C, E, G. That's how you come up with a C major scale chord. But let's say you just want to play a fifth or a C5 rather than D5, then you would just leave out the G, and it would just be the root note C, and then the fifth note G, because C, D, E, F, G, G would be the fifth note. That's how you come up with that, the fifth.
Wow.
So we play power chords. Usually that would mean fifths.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what it means. That's what it means. It's the fifth note of the scale.
Yeah, that's true. I was also thinking of like, yeah, I hear you what you're saying too. Um, there's another way to play the D, which is on the fifth fret. Um, that's what somebody else was showing me when I was playing with them, and um, we were jamming on the guitar, and he was like, instead of playing it over here, why don't you just play it a little further down, and then it has a different tune to it,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
you can make a whole new song with it.
That's kind of true. Like say for example, you mean like I think if what you're saying is like if you play like say an open D chord where you're like holding down like on the higher strings, you're holding down like uh second fret and third fret to make that kind of D chord sound is different than if you're playing like a bar chord D on the starting with the root on the fifth note of the A string, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's true too. Is that different fingerings can have a different texture to them or timbre. So, like for example, like an open chord where the strings just ring out, they have a different quality sound than what you would get with, like, say, a bar chord where you're holding the strings down with like your finger across the fretboard or whatever. But that's true. You can that alone, like say going from the open D to the bar D, um, can have a that alone creates subtle difference if you're repeating the same riff if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, that's true. The more that I was learning from just being in bands too, it does strengthen your your knowledge when it comes to the guitar,
Uh-huh.
and getting to hear other people's ideals when it comes to guitar playing or even singing. Like they teach you different octaves that they can sing in, and you get to hear the different tones of the way they play the guitar and the way they sing, and then the drum beat and how it all intertwines together and
Uh-huh.
how it all interlinks. It amazes me because you're learning so much different stuff from each band that you played with.
That's true too. Yeah, it's good to um uh to play with other people and learn from what they're doing. Yeah, it depends. Well, it depends on how like the people you're playing with. But yeah, that can be true.
It
Um,
it, it very much depends on that because like they some are at different levels of learning their instrument.
this is very true. Very true.
Yeah.
In my mind, though, this is one of the things that it took me a long time to learn is that if you're going to put together a band, a musical group, um, then what's oh hey Seller's awake right on. Hey, how's it going? Like, in my mind, if you're when it comes to bands, what's more important than musical ability, like for what we play, like rock music or whatever, is or metal, whatever you want to call it, is it's more important that you get along with fellow band members than their ability to play, right? So, like, let's say, for example, you know, you had this super stellar singer or drummer or guitar player or what have you, um, and they're just amazing, but they don't get along with anybody, right? Or they're arrogant and they, et cetera. Then, then it really doesn't matter how good they are because you're just going to end up fighting with that person all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I can tell you about a time. Uh, this guy, he was getting really in a band that I was in. I think it was, let's see here. I just got out of high school. I was just turning 18. And me and my friend, well, some of my friends were still in high school. They were barely getting to their senior year.
Hmm.
I just graduated and I'm like, man, I'm gonna miss hanging out with you guys and stuff. So we were like, you know what, let's just do a band and like we'll hang out and stuff like that. So we created this band and he was supposed to be the lead guitarist and I was gonna be the rhythm guitarist.
Uh-huh.
And he got way too into himself and started talking about like girls that he was gonna do and all this crazy stuff. And I'm just like, man, you know, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I wanted to do. I just want to practice and learn more and grow in the instrument and stuff. Like just let's just play, man. Like let's just enjoy each other's time, create some music, and have a good time. And he completely just like lost it. I was like, nah, that's not how a rock band is. And I was like, all right, I can't be a part of this then because we're supposed to be practicing on certain times and just have it that way, but you don't want to practice at all. And it really broke up the band pretty bad. I mean,
Yeah, it's a perfect example of that. I mean, because like everyone's got you got to be dedicated to a certain level. Oh my God, I got some stories to tell you. But like that's like here's one thing. I was talking to this other guitar player, and for me, it's like I'm a very generous person. So Tommy, I brother, I feel you. I know that one all too well. But like and I had this guy come over, right? And because I needed a second guitar player. I'm like, what? I don't mind. I'll play the rhythm part. I could play the lead in my sleep, but whatever. If it's a glory thing, you have it. I'll play rhythm, whatever. I don't care because I'm a team player. And like, but this person didn't know the music, right? And so, um, we were playing a song, and I was playing a certain part that I knew how to play, just for expediency. And then, and he was trying to play the same thing I was, but like there was like a more melodic part of the song, but he was playing it like on like a fourth higher, like on the next higher string, and he thought he was impressing me, saying, "Look what I can do," and I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what you can do, because you know what? It's about the song, and if you're making it about you, all you're doing is wasting my time, because now we have to go back and practice it over again. You know what I'm saying? Because you're making it about you, and it's like it's kind of like, you know what? If let's say I'm playing like a simple ballad or something, the whole band's playing, and then the drummer is playing thrash metal or mosh pit music or whatever, or blast beats or whatever on the drums. It's like, you know what? It's great. I'm really glad you have the ability to do that. You know, great, but not now. It doesn't call for it in this song. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, if you're playing something really simple, you know, then it doesn't make sense to overplay. You know, it doesn't fit the music. If you're playing something slow, you don't need this, you know, over ornate melodic lead guitar or whatever on top of it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just one of those things. I don't know what it's like a.
It's not like you're playing a pentatonic scale or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I guess what I'm saying is, like, you don't want to overplay. Not like it's not always about like that. In my mind, like when if you're playing with somebody, it depends on the music. You know what I'm saying? But like, um, but there's a, I guess it's hard. One of those things is hard to teach. But it's like sometimes it's not important what you do play, but what you don't play. You know what I mean? And and I don't know. That's one thing that. The other thing about guitar players too, in general, is that uh, they're they're notoriously bad about certain things, and it's something that so it's like people go through stages, unless they're like, you know, they've been brought up and raised to do something a certain way, or because most guitar players, um, in general, uh, they don't have a huge amount of musical background, because they get into it because it was fun or whatever, and they're learning. Most of them learn by ear, so they don't know how to read sheet music, and that is, it is what it is. It's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, but when they get into it, you know, maybe they'll learn one or two chords, or you know, whatever it is that how they are farther along in their progress. And then when at some point they figured out, you know what, I like enjoy playing this song because it's something I can play, and it's simple enough that I can enjoy myself having fun playing it, but I don't want to push myself into playing the harder things, because that's not as much fun, because that requires more discipline and sitting down and trying to hone the skill. So inevitably, usually what happens with guitar players in general is that they stop their progress along a certain point, because it stops being fun. You know what I mean? And so they don't want to push themselves. So you know, they kind of end up being limited in what they can do. And then the other thing you get is like, the guy at the party that's like that is insecure, so they're trying to find any way they can to rip on what someone else is doing, because it makes them feel better, because they, you know, they're not doing something or whatever. It just becomes like a self-centered thing, right?
It's always been that way too. Like like I said with that guy too, he was about he was about going out and doing the party scene stuff. And I was like, that's not what playing in a band is all about all the time. Like, it's not always like, hey, let's go party and just ditch out on practice and
Mm-hmm.
not
Yep.
do the things that a band should do to come together as a brotherhood. Like it's like a brotherhood. You go in together. You're friends.
Right.
You're like brothers.
Right. Right.
You're playing alongside a brother. You're playing an instrument, and it all intertwines together. It's amazing. Um, and I was trying to explain it to him, and he just like it went from one ear out the other, and I was like, man, how else am I supposed to talk to you? Like, I get it, man. Like, you want to go party. That's cool. Do your thing. I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying we should be practicing more. not
Right.
not partying more. That
Uh-huh.
doesn't do nothing but hurt you and hinder you.
Yeah, I agree. It was like, it's not it's not respecting that commitment or whatever, that you have to be somewhere. That's the other thing. It's like you have to, everyone has different jobs and lives and commitments. So that's the other thing about being in band is you have to like, be able to, to organize all those things so that everyone's able to kind of meet together and whatnot. And if you have someone like that who's not respecting that, which usually would be arrogance. That's usually the enemy for one way or the other. Like they're arrogant, think I don't. Arrogant meaning I don't need to do this. I need to go party or whatever. That's being like I'm too good for this or whatever, and selfish and arrogant, or I'm too good for you, or not respecting people around you, and um, you know,
And it kind of hurts the person instead of, helps the person.
yeah,
So it's like, man, I was kind of looking at it and I was like, man, you know, I understand where that person was coming from. They want to go out and party. They're young. I get it, man. I get it. I'm young too. I was young and I'm still young, but I'm saying
right,
like I was younger.
right,
Just got out of high school. I was like, yeah, of course I get that, dude. Don't get me wrong. It's fun. Yeah, it's fun to go out and party and do those things. Cool. But I'm not focused on that all the time, though. I want to learn stuff, And I was like, I want to grow on this stuff, man. I want to know more.
right,
And the more I was sitting down, I wanted to read more music. I wanted to learn the notes. I wanted to know, hey, what is this note? How does this note sound with this song? Or how does this sound with the lyrics we just wrote? Does this sound good? Does this mesh well with the lyrics? And I mean, a lot of the other guys would be like, yeah, that meshes well with it, and we'd play along with it and kind of get more of a feel for it. And I wanted to hear the tones of the voice, the vocals. How is this note going to hit with that chord? Is that going to be the right note for that chord? You know, it was always something in my mind. I was always thinking, how is this going to fit the right way? How is it going to fit together like a puzzle piece? That's just something that's always been in my mind. I mean, even when I like read the scripture, I like look, where is Christ in this? And I try to just,
interesting. That's a good point.
yeah,
Mm. You're looking for the patterns and how they connect and stuff.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
There's always a pattern somewhere.
Well, but I assume that you got along with the other musicians, I guess, right?
I did to a point, and then everybody, like I said, everybody just dispersed, and like one person, well, our singer, he took off all the way to Phoenix, and then we found out he got arrested.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like, when you even if you have everybody together, it's hard to keep everybody motivated towards the same goals. It's just it's a lot to it, man. I it's yeah, that's pretty difficult in and of itself. Like, um, to just to keep everybody. You know what it is like, um, is that one, you have to sell everybody on the idea. Everybody has to be on the same page, right? Um, everybody has to get along. I can't stress that enough. That's more important than some one person's ability. Um, and then so once you get everyone on board, everyone is sharing the same vision, and everything's great. Even if you get to that point, then in my mind, the next important thing is to get to where you have a certain number of songs where you can go out and gig, even if it's like a full gig or whatever, just to get that playing live as a group. Because once you do that, what the trick is that you're going to have some people in there who are going to be easily distracted or whatever. But once they you get, because if you're stuck being in your garage the whole time, then it's just going to be an idea. It's going to be a concept, and it's not going to be a reality to anybody. But once you get everybody together, yeah, 10 songs isn't bad. Yeah, Tommy, I agree. 10 songs is really good start. Yep, I completely agree. Kind of. With a 10, you could play a small venue for sure. That's what my goal is that you get everyone together, get the 10 songs down. That's to me that's a really good number. and you may not play like as a headline or anything like that, but at least that way you can kind of get your foot in the door. You're playing somewhere, and then you get the excitement of playing live, and then the other cats are on board, and they're like, "Wow, that was fun! I want to do that again." And it's like a snowball that gets rolling, and then everybody's going in the right direction that way. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like a time thing, though. It's like if you don't pull it off the right timing, you're going to have someone that gets bored or whatever, and they're end up bailing. And so it's the chemistry, the timing, and everybody on board. The other thing about it too is that so we're talking about being in a band and like formulating a band and what it all goes into that. So the other part of it is that psychologically, sometimes people. I look at it as like being in a commune. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody has an equal say. Kind of like the way I run my channel. I don't like to try to, as much as I can. I don't like to be telling people what to do if I can get away with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I like people to have freedom and stuff. But I try to run a band like that, but sometimes I don't know what it is, but sometimes people just they need a leader. Sometimes, you know what I mean, and so it is what it is. It's, but it's cool the less you can do that because it's kind of nice to feed on the strengths of all the people around you and just let as much as possible let things happen organically. Um, what are your views on that? Did you were you the band leader or someone else or how that work out?
Well, I mean, me and the singer, we both would be doing this stuff, man. I mean, we would, he would come up with the vocals and tell people, "Hey, I want it this certain way," and then I would get the people and say, "Hey, you need to stop slacking off, man. Like, we need to come together as a group. You can't just go out and say screw this whole thing and like go to a party and not come at all." I go, we really need you here at this time so that way we can kind of have everything written out. We set it out for this reason. And they didn't like that. And some of them would just say, you know what, I'm done with this because they want to go party and do their thing. And that's fine. I said, fine, man. Like, hey, do your thing. I'm not mad at you. I
Uh,
just want you to know, like, you wanted to be in the band. So this is what a band does is we set times for everybody to know, hey, this is the time we're all good to set up to go and practice. And then from there, set up songs that we can go out and play at different areas, whenever we get like a venue or something going. But they didn't want to hear it, so it is what it is. So we like it was just me and the lead singer. We would try to get everybody together and try to set everything up the right way.
okay, makes sense. Oh, here's the other thing too. When you're putting a band together, like it's if you're going to have two guitar players, like a two guitar player sound,
Uh-huh.
and you're starting the band out, it's better to start with the other guitar player than say as opposed to like say starting out with a guitar and drums or guitar and a bass or whatever. It's better to start out with the two guitar players. And in my at least that's my opinion. If you're only going to go with one guitar player, then it's better to start off with like say the guitar player and the bass player, in my opinion.
I
Um,
mean, that's true.
or maybe the singer, or you could go the guitar player and the singer if you want to go that way. That might not be too bad to start out with that way too. But definitely if it's two guitars, it's better to start out with the core nuclei being the two guitar players because the reason for that, in my opinion, is that the two guitar players are the ones that are going to write the basic songs down, and so they have to know each other's part. Um, and if they can, it's easier for a bass player to jump in and just pound on an E string or whatever, um, eh, just to um, just to lay down a track or whatever. Unless depending on how complicated you want to make a bass line and how versus just getting something rolling, um, it's easier for them to do that than vice versa. Because if you bring in the second guitar player in later, then what's going to happen is let's say you have the guitar player, the bass player, and drummer, and you're just looking for that second guitar player, and you start going through people. It's going to be hard because they're coming in after the fact, and then you're going to have all kinds of egos get involved where they're like, you know what, I want to change this part, and it just throws down the whole, stops
The
the
whole
whole.
song.
Yeah, you're like, you know what, that's great. You want to change the part 10 years later, you know what I'm saying? But honestly, what they don't get is that it's like a time bomb. You only have so much time to keep people motivated until where you actually are playing in a club or whatever, and then that gets that whole motivation factor going. But if you're stopping and say, you know what, hold the bus, so and so, wants to change this part, so now everybody's going to stop and relearn what they learned a different way and all that, and it just stops the momentum. So what I say is like, just get your 10 songs down, let's get up and moving, and then from there, if you wanted to start writing new songs and do something different with the new songs, that gets that energy out that way, rather than wasting time to fix something you've already been working on. Because you have to, because there's a lot of things you have to, one, you get the writing down, two, you have to start playing, and then three, you got to find an audience, and et cetera, et cetera.
It's not easy, and I mean, I learned that too the hard way. Um, cause I like one of the songs that I wrote down. I was trying to show it to them, and um, they kind of like they're like, "That's really
Wow.
cool, huh?"
Seller was talking about being kidnapped. Like, that sounds pretty intense.
Ooh. Um, yeah. So I was just showing it to them, and then we had it all set up, and then that lead guitarist that I was talking about, he wanted to change certain things after we
See
had
what
it
I mean?
all set
Like,
up.
right? Did I call that or what? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, that's exactly what they'll do. So, because like I said, one is that like guitar players in general, they tend to be kind of prima donnas sometimes anyway. So, it's a different way. Bass players have a different, and drummers have a different way of looking at music than guitar players, and singers are probably even more notorious for stuff. But like, but if you have the two guitar players working stuff out from the beginning, then that forces them to work with each other, right? And then they become comfortable, and then it's less about them competing with each other than it is if they see themselves as a group. So then it becomes more of a we thing rather than I and you thing. And then when you get the other players in there, they tend to be more agreeable anyway because they're the rhythm section. So they're just trying to find a creative way to enhance what's ever already been established. And so, in my mind, it creates less friction that way, and it makes it easier to move on and you know take care of things. Yeah.
That's very true. The guitar player that I was talking about, though, too, we were together for a while, and everything like that. We all started out together. It's just he wanted to go out and do other things, and we're like, hey, we're not here to stop you, man. We're just telling you, like, from what a band situation would be like. It's more like there's a lot more practice in it, and trying to make sure we get these things down for a band practice.
Uh huh. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I see it. That's very true though. Like I
Uh,
said, the guitar player can be really arrogant. So even if you start something, it's no guarantee. So even if you start with them, that ego can come out. Um, I remember I was talking to one guitar player that I was working with for a while, and he was under this impression that everything has to be complicated, guitar wise or music wise, or it's not good. If it's not complicated, then he'll throw his nose up and say, "Oh, that's too simple. It has to be. We have to complicate this somehow." And and I just definitely don't agree with that at all. It depends on the song. If you have a complicated song, great. But if you don't, it really depends on the music. You know what I'm saying? Because like, if let's say if you're playing something really simple like a blues number or something, you know, there's a beauty in the simplicity that you're going to lose if you try to overcomplicate it. And I don't know how to explain that part. It's like, you know, let's say you're playing the first three or four notes of like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, da 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 da, right?
yeah.
Right, and it's very like, and someone's like, let's change that. Instead of having like four or five notes, whatever it is, let's make that 50 notes and do runs, and you know what I mean. And you're going to lose the impact of the simplicity of the statement. You know what I'm saying?
And that happens to a lot of people. That's the thing. Like, if it's like three chords or whatever, and you're playing them over and over again, but you're doing it the right way to where it sounds pretty good, even when you're doing like the chorus and stuff like that, you know?
Right.
You change it up a little bit, you know, you switch the chords around a little bit, but then the person's like, no, 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 we need to add, you know, three
Right.
or four more chords in there. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
It sounds good the way it is.
Right, right, exactly. Why change it? You know. So I don't know why what it makes people do that. Like they think like more is better or something, and it's like sometimes it's just more. You know what I mean? Um, and I remember I was talking working with this one. I want to get this off my chest. I was working with this one guitar player. He was like, Mike, that music is too simple because we were playing surf music, and surf music is it's just not that complicated. So and he's like, you know, really, you know, this is too easy. And then, but then I go, okay, great, then play this part, and it was like part of the song, and he couldn't do it. And I was like, you know what, if you can't do something, then you shouldn't be complaining about it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so
That's
immature,
true.
man. I think it's some things you just can't teach people. They have to figure it out for themselves, you know, sometimes. But yeah, I was just it's just a trip to me. Either way, you know, you're talking crap about how it has to be complicated when it doesn't have to be, and then you actually get in there and you can't do the simplest thing, and then whatever you were talking about. So it's like, you know, dude, get over yourself. You know, I don't know. It's like I think what is that insecurity kicks in. Like I think like what happens is some guitar players. I usually pick on guitar players because that's what I have experience with, and they're usually notorious for having issues. But like um, that, they think, well, they want to be the best. They're special. You're special, you know, and so it's about them because they're special. No, you know, and and so they're insecure and they want to prove to someone else that they're the best guitar player that ever lived. And that's the other thing. It's not about that anyway. It's not being about being. I guess that could happen, you know, if that's your goal or whatever. But honestly speaking, if you're a musician, right, it's not about being a better musician than other musicians. It's about really, in my mind, it's about expressing what you have to say. Because if you're a musician, it's sort of like you're a writer in a sense. You're like writing um, your story. And so if you're writing, it's kind of ridiculous to say who's better or not to some extent, although someone may have more agility, etc. But if you're a real musician, then what you have something to say. You have a story to tell, and only you can tell your story because my story's not like yours. You haven't been through what I've been through, and I have not been through what you've been through. So only you can tell that story your way. And so if you are honest and have um, an honest message that you're trying to portray through your music, it's going to come out. And that integrity of vision, or whatever you want to call it, that it, you know, that part of you, that's it's sort of like that, you know, bared to the world honesty. If that comes out through your music, then you're doing the right thing. And so some people have a complicated message. Some people have a very complicated and uh, sophisticated message that they wanted to tell people. But sometimes someone has a very raw, you know, to the core, simplistic thing, and that doesn't take away from the profound emotion that that person is feeling. It is what it is. And so each person has to as long as they're being, that's the most important thing, I think, is being true to themselves and what they're trying to do with integrity of vision. And if they can do that, then you know they're being an honest and true musician and expressing themselves in a way that's not trying to imitate somebody else, because you can't be somebody else. You like you might admire another musician and might learn things from them, but you can't be them because you haven't lived their life. So you could try to like imitate it and copy it, like a someone who's a forger, right? Like you're forging someone else's paintings, like you're copying Van Gogh paintings or something, but you're never
That's
going to be Van Gogh or whoever you're imitating. So, and in the end, who would want a second? There's already a Van Gogh. Why do you need another one anyway? Right?
that's true. I mean, You're unique in your own way when it comes to anything. It's, you know, you didn't, how do I say this? Like Jimi Hendrix, he was unique in his own music. I mean, think
Yeah.
about it.
Huh?
His own sound. It was unique. Nobody else could do that kind of stuff that he did.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Yeah. Yep.
Or Eddie Van Halen. I mean, think about how he plays. I mean, dang. I mean, people can mimic him. They could try their best to mimic him, but he's unique in his own way. It's never going to sound the same compared to what he has done.
Right. Yeah. Very, very true. Uh huh.
That's just my personal opinion on it all. I think that we all have our own unique ways of playing instruments or doing anything really. I mean, we're unique in our own way. We're all set apart in our own way. It's
You know,
amazing.
like actually, kind of the way I look at it too is kind of like the way I look at art, like someone's painting or drawing, et cetera, whatever it is. Um, so music is like an art too. So let's say you have someone like Eddie Van Halen that has all this agility and skills and taste and all those other things, and it's just an amazing experience. And then I listen to somebody else who doesn't have that ability, but they're still trying to express their own message. Um, and I could, for me personally, it's like when I hear someone else, it's even though they're not the top of the line, you know, uh, musician with all the chops and skills and all that, that doesn't take away from me personally what they're trying to say. Like I could look at a painting by like a 2-year-old or whatever, versus like some painting, from that's in a gallery somewhere, and I have to look at each work as it is, um, on its own merits, or whatever. It doesn't make sense to compare them. Each person you look at and listening to or watching or whatever, um, it's its own entity, and to value it for what it is.
That's true. You know, like you were saying, even if it's basically like you're saying a beginner to an experienced person that has that talent, right?
Uh,
That's what you're talking about, right? Like, um,
it could be talent, or it could just be hard
or
work. You know,
just hard work. I mean, in
yeah,
general, anything like years of experience is what I'm
right.
saying too.
Uh,
Like, going from year one, when we're first learning all those chords and everything, right?
yeah,
And then like year two, you start picking up the pace on it a little bit, right? And then you start getting the rhythm more. And it's like there's a tempo. Year three, you start getting the tempo more. And then it starts building up. And you're like, oh, now I can kind of read the chords and what they're you know what I mean, like how to put them on there and play them more, and more about notes and stuff like that from the book, maybe sometimes or whatever. But like me personally, like let's see here, I think it was high school. I learned some classical guitar, and you have to learn how to read half notes, full notes, and chord progressions. I had no idea what the heck I was doing because I used to just listen by ear. So I had to reteach myself certain things because I was like, wow, I was learning this the wrong way. I got to implement this way of style because classical guitar is completely different compared to like 60s, 50s, and I was into like the 70s kind of music and 80s music, right?
yeah,
And then I started getting into the heavy metal and stuff. So it was like, okay, this is completely a different sound than heavy metal, like speed metal and all this other stuff, right?
uh-huh.
And I try to play it really fast, like some of these songs that were classical music, classical songs. And my teacher's like, no, 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 you got to slow it down a little bit there. And I'm like, man, what do you mean slow it down? Like, I'm not used to this. And she's like, just slow it down and let the rhythm speak for itself. It's like, let the rhythm speak for itself. All right, I'm gonna try this. So I just went with what she said, and then I started getting the tempo of it and knowing exactly the beat and when to stop and when to go and learning. Hey, you got to slow things down a bit here. You can't always be speeding things up pretty fast. It's not going to help anybody.
Uh-huh.
It just taught me a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Like it depends on the piece of music. Like some things are just meant to be played at the way it's written for different tempos and whatnot. I can see that.
Most definitely. But I can also put that with like the Bible too. You know, it's not meant for a fast-paced thing. It was meant for like to walk with him, to know him, and to have that relationship with God. So I always looked at it from both sides too. You know, like I can understand, I can put that all that music stuff that I learned,
Hmm.
and I can integrate it with what I read from the scripture, and like say, hey, he's talking about walking with him. Don't speed up, man. He's saying, enjoy what you have with me. It's a relationship. Believe on me. You know, just, I'm here. Be still. Relax in me. That's all I'm asking. And then everything else comes together.
Yeah, I see that.
You know, it's always a masterpiece when you think about something, man. Like that's just my personal opinion on it. Like I always see things as a masterpiece that we may not get right away, but then things start to click and it makes more and more sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that. Yep. Yeah, well, it takes me a while to figure things out. I was
Yeah.
like sometimes I have to hear things multiple times before I understand it.
Yeah. I get that too. Definitely understand how that is. Um, but yeah, it's been awesome talking to you tonight, and it's already almost an hour and a half in. I know you're probably getting tired, and I'm kind of
Yeah,
a
I
little
am
bit
beat.
there.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Well, yeah, it was nice talking to you.
It's awesome. Thank you for coming on, and I appreciate you being here. And thank you everybody in the chat for being here. It was awesome getting to talk to you guys and getting to read your guys' comments and having discussions with everybody. It was amazing. Thank you guys. I hope you guys all have a good night and God bless.
Oh yeah, hey, thanks for coming on my channel earlier too. I appreciate that.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you for having me on there.
Hope you feel better too.
Thanks. I hope you do good too. I think you said you weren't feeling well either. I hope everything's good with you.
I am. I'm definitely feeling better than what I was before. And I remember if you look at in the hangout, I sent you the to go back and look at that
Oh,
uh
the gum.
yeah, take a look
Yeah.
at that later.
I'll definitely have to do that and then try to see if I can find it in the stores over here. Maybe I could find it here.
Yeah, maybe, or you can always order it on Amazon or something.
True, that too. Awesome. Well, thank you, Peanut. Thank you for being on, and I hope you have a good night. God bless, Peanut.
God bless you too. Have a great one. Later.
God bless everybody. Good night, guys.